My name is Portia Mthembu. I work for Standard Bank, KZN. I work as a distribution manager for the Dolphin Coast area. I got to where I am today purely because of hard work. It's been consistent hard work, commitment to the journey, and consistent in how I do my work for myself within the organization as a brand. I've been blessed that I've had so much of support around me in terms of the leadership that I've had throughout my years in Standard Bank. I've received all of that support, and I've been receiving continuous mentoring and coaching that enables me to do my work at the best of my ability. People that inspire me, I would say it's women that have paved a way for me. Women that have made it possible for me to be sitting here today and be afforded so many opportunities to showcase my abilities. I salute the women that have fought unspoken battles on my behalf, and as a result, I'm able to show up confidently in the spaces that I'm able to occupy, and therefore I always feel that I strive to delicately honor their legacy. And furthermore, I'm inspired by the provincial leadership of Standard Bank here in KZN. The leadership believes in me more than I thought it's possible, and I truly then strive to always put my best foot forward in honor of the faith that they have in me. I've been afforded with a lot of opportunities as well as resources and tools in order for me to succeed. So that inspires me every single day to push and really be my best at my work. Lastly, I'm inspired by our CEO, Funeka Mojane. She's Standard Bank CEO of Consumer High Net Worth Clients. She's a phenomenal and dynamic woman that had made a formidable change in the banking industry. She has changed the narrative of banking, where it's now more about a personal, where it's offering customer a service more than just a transaction between a banker and a customer. It's more about offering customer a home as opposed to a home loan, which has been the culture of the banking industry. But in doing that, she's been constantly taking other women with her on the journey, which is what I've been admiring. It's something that we need more in this country. We need more women that are taking other women with them on the journey and be able to afford them opportunities on the table. So she's been doing that. And as a result, I can confidently say I'm standing on the shoulders of the giants, and I also boldly press forward and not to disappoint. How did I get to banking? Basically, I was working for a broker many years ago. I've been with the bank for the past 17 years. I was working for a broker at, it was a small business enterprise exhibition, and Standard Bank were next to the company that I worked for. So I was interviewed by the Standard Bank senior manager that saw how I was doing my work for this broker. He approached me and he was really impressed at how I was able to interact with customers, more customers than the Standard Bank did at the time. And then he offered me a job, and he asked me if I could come for an interview on Monday. So I did. And yeah, it's been a very successful and enjoyable past 17 years of my life. My achievements so far, I have been entrusted with leading one of the two big branches in KZN that have really been successful in terms of finances as well as a customer obsession, and I've led those branches with much success. And furthermore, I was also nominated for Mark of Excellence, where I was afforded an opportunity to go with my husband to Brazil. I think for me, it was a really very significant moment. It was a true testament of hard work and persistence. I could actually see the results of my hard work and sweat over the years. I felt so grateful and so appreciated, and it motivated me to push forward, to work harder than I did before. So I'll always look back at those moments and be grateful. There's many challenges that I could speak of. However, the one that was quite significant and that was a pivot point in my career was when I was appointed as one of the managers in a very strong and demanding community, where the community had certain stereotypes about Black women's abilities in their community. It actually took me to prove myself every time that I do possess the skills and the experience to occupy the role that I was entrusted with. I needed to grow, to be bold. I needed to learn to be more confident in who I am. I had to stay closer to what truly defines me, my inner core, to draw strength and be able to stand firm in that environment. And when I was faced with that, the biggest thing for me, I had two things in mind. Firstly, it was about I had to honor the bank's faith in placing me in that environment, knowing that I'm a black woman and the bank expected me to make it. So I needed to honor that. And secondly, I had to also look at changing the narrative in that community in a form of leaving a legacy, to change a narrative of how they perceive a black woman in that environment. But what was comforting was that I had a very supportive leadership around me, where I could refer, and I was constantly coached on how to deal with such complexities. I was coached on the bank processes of handling such matters, and I was also reminded of my own rights as a human being. I had to remain very much abreast of what was happening at the time in the community, which involved me reading the local newspapers so that I could relate with the community that I was operating in. And that sort of helped me to relate with them, and they trusted me more because they felt I do fit in within the community. I had to invest in myself quite aggressively because I needed to show up confidently and quite knowledgeable to prove that I do have what it takes to fulfill that role. And I did succeed. I succeeded because the community was advocating for me. They're validating my credibility and professionalism. I would get a lot of business referral from the customers and as word of mouth because they started believing in me and who I am. But that took me to be quite strong and draw strength from within and believed in who I am. I will always take that experience with me. I will always take it with me because it has shaped me to be the confident and diverse leader that I am today. What it also did, it also addressed my own stereotypes that I didn't know that existed, because that's what the journey is all about. The journey is not only about us learning, it's also about unlearning our habits and beliefs that may not be relevant to the era in which we live in. My future goals, firstly, is to add more value within the organization. I believe that I still have many years to go within the organization to add more value and be able to fulfill other senior positions and senior roles where I'll be able to make a significant impact than where I am at the moment. And further to that, one of my goals is also to groom more black women, especially in any environment that I operate in, purely because we still have a challenge in terms of black women that are occupying significant positions in our country as a whole, not just in the business in which I operate. The advice that I will give to a woman who's following in my role, I would say, firstly, you will need to identify your career path that is in line with who you are. And that's really important, because if it's in line with who you are, you will be able to ignite passion in you as well as purpose, and you will then excel in how you do your work. So that's the first thing for me. And secondly, in order for you to earn a space at the table, you need to believe in yourself, and I could never say that enough. Believe in yourself, which also talks to growing confidence or building confidence in your abilities, loving your personality, loving your perspective and your experiences. And when you do that, you're then able to show up confidently. You're then able to gain credibility and respect from people around you. And thereafter, the biggest key is consistency. Consistency in your game, consistency in yourself in terms of always putting your best foot forward. And that's what I will say to another woman that is coming after me. I have made a difference in the community or the business in which I operate in. I have taken a lot of people along with me on the journey, men and women. I have identified gaps that needed change, and I've been advocating change, but more than anything, bringing fresh perspective, ensuring that people understand the purpose of what we do, where it's bigger than just a job just working for the bank, but where I'm trying to drive that we are changing people's lives, we are touching people's lives, and that has to be a memorable experience every single day. That's what I will say. I've been building a culture. So in any environment that I'm interested in, I always build culture. Culture is not based on me living the environment. Culture becomes something that happens every single day without me being there or not. And I've seen that. I've taken some young leaders along the journey with me, and it's something that I will always look back and be proud of as a legacy that I've been leaving everywhere I go.